we need to make sure that we have READMEs and how-tos to just explain how all the data works together. And I find that during this process, I've really focused on developing the READMEs. Dr. Bannerman was really great in developing the how-tos when I was onboarded, but over the course of this project, I've been adopting a number of practices that weren't necessarily in the initial how-to document.
The person who did the interview does the data analysis with another person. It's sort of that closeness of data, but we also share our memos with each other. And so what memoing is, I believe it's a part of phenomenological inquiry and narrative inquiry. And so then we're just writing things down like our different thoughts or things that maybe weren't captured as well as they could be, like in the recording. So we just do audio recording.
So just really just making sure that I am developing or building out these READMEs, writing everything down, and just developing that wealth of documentation, which I think sometimes can be lacking, especially when you're the only one working on the project. So it kind of feels that you don't need to.
We try to write down like if participants were feeling, if they seem to be feeling a particular way, or like sometimes like if it's appropriate, we'll write about like if people were tearing up, like that may not be caught in the audio. So we try to keep those to keep that story central and all the pieces of that story, the emotions, the way it's told, and also what we're thinking.
So the metadata is very important for our project, and just emphasizing that in my day-to-day practices has been crucial.
These data for the Family Friendly Community Resource Project that have been gathered from open public sources, like DMTI Spatial, for example, where they each come with their own code book, but we haven't combined them, or we hadn't combined them. And so this was really an important task, I think, that Carly undertook, where it was standardizing, not only standardizing the code book across, but creating those materials so that someone could easily come into the project and understand how to work with those data.
The ability to share the same metadata with everybody so that everybody can find everything in the same way and through the same process, so that each of the people, whether you're in Canada, in Hamilton or Calgary, or you're in San Salvador, you know those descriptions and you know where everything's going to be.
By doing all of that, it's been really helpful because I just know and feel more confident that if I were to step back, that somebody could pick up my work, which has been really great. So the metadata is very important for our project.
Where metadata gets very complex is in other kinds of data collection. So, for instance, in Brighter Spark, we work with administrative data.
Metadata plays a big role in the kind of data, the kind of work that we do anyways. Like the research that we do is mostly like evaluation. We're dealing with community partners.
For the most part, there are no real definitions of administrative data. When we get the data, we know little to nothing about how it was collected, how reliable it is, whether they do any quality control testing on it. We have to systematically ask a lot of questions to be sure that we are doing the right thing with the data and not making erroneous analysis decisions.
We can always like go back and update things because we already have this READMEs, this documentation in place to help navigate us or remind us of all the things that we've done with previous analysis and help with future analysis.
In the past, we just asked those questions, but we did not systematically document everything that was said. And I think the change for us has been the sheer volume of documentation of everything that clients say, everything that goes into the project, with the recognition that both for us and then potentially for the clients, being able to actually understand how their administrative data works and how reliable it is a really good and useful thing.
And so being able to document the process every step of the way would help a great deal. And it has, because we're able to now be at a place where we can work on, we can have reproducible research.
We have to be able to somewhat replicate our own analysis. And I know there's lots of talk about that in reflexivity, like in qualitative data, but we also want to be mindful of our own selves and our own lenses and our own thoughts.
This series is brought to you by SPARC, a Center for Social Research Innovation.